This video details the installation of a power motor for the rear window on a Gen 2 Tacoma. Here I demonstrate the final product. Just a quick disclaimer, this is the way I do it. I'm not a professional. I also should mention that everything here, as far as ideas, came from Tacoma World, relying heavily on the original design by BenWA. Please reference Tacoma World for any questions. To do this project, the first thing you need to get is a Sienna switch. I bought mine off of eBay. Here's the switch removed. I also used cable. I had this laying around. This is galvanized 1/16 inch cable, which worked very well. This is the stop at the end. Once it's secured on the wire, it needs to be ground down to be squared to replace what is on the Impala window motor. I also had some extra aluminum stock that I used as the mounting bracket. This was my initial design, but you're about to see that the final design was a little different. I cut a hole for the motor to fit in the bottom bracket, and then secured it using these two pieces of metal, which allowed it to fit flush and with the OEM backing hardware. You can see the wires are extending out in a direction that will allow them to interact with the window bracket. In order to get everything secured, you have to, it's key that the springs on the motor are fully tightened while you're securing everything. I used zip ties just to hold things in place while I was getting everything set up. And the bicycle cables are basically held within this rigid housing, which allows it to put tension on the system, which makes the whole thing very easy to install. Here's what everything looks like closed with the window working. So the cable ties are all used to manage the wiring. Those are just 3M stickums. I'll put the link for what that is in the comment section as well. But this is what everything looked like after it was installed. You can see the bracket as well that I fabricated, which is probably one of the harder parts of the whole installation. Here's the cargo holders installing in. Everything fits nicely. The wires have all been routed. And then there's bike tensioners there. That's that small red piece in line with the bicycle cables. The springs are tensioned as well, and there is a deslacking process that needs to occur to make sure that that's tight. Here's the location I chose to put the Sienna wire. I used an add-a-fuse to add the 10 amp fuse that's required, and routed all the wiring along the floorboard on the driver's side. Here's once everything has been replaced, the little plastic clips that hold this in place also tend to fracture. I would highly recommend getting replacements so that you don't have problems getting the black plastic pieces back in place. But you can see here again the brackets both on the far side, on the passenger side, and the bracket on the driver's side here, which is pushed forward to tighten it. Here's the button again working, and this is what things look like under power. And that's the final install. This is the driver's side bracket important to note that deslacking is extremely important. So keeping that wire under tension, I used a little pick to gradually pull more and more tension as I ran the device back and forth. You also have to disengage permanently or non-permanently the window latch. I used a little felt 3M pad in there, which keeps it permanently open, and I can always pull that out and reverse it if needed. There's where I ran all the wiring, just along the floorboard here, and then pulling this out shows you the add a fuse with the 10 amp fuse, and then the wire runs up to the switch from here. Again, there's the on-off. I preferred the driver's side location just so the passenger couldn't operate it if I'm driving with one of my kids. I neglected to take any pictures of the Impala motor taken apart, but this is the final product. Everything worked really well. I hope this is helpful. I really love this modification and use it all the time.